Under old business, case number Z1717, LENNY CHEN for finding and change the use of the official retail is not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood in front of 657 Adams Street. The applicant and representative here.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, honorable members. For the record, my name is Attorney Jack P. Milram. On behalf of the applicant LENNY CHEN, Mr. Chen is right here, seated to my right. As the chair said, this is an application for finding for change of use from office to retail at 657 Adams Street here in the city of Quincy. According to the public record, the building was built in 1840. It's a 3-unit commercial building. What's considered to be the storefront unit historically was a Century 21. The first floor unit historically was a travel agency. Second floor historically was an accountant's office, is my understanding. The building's been sold in the last year. It's currently vacant. There's currently one lease that's been signed subject to zoning approval, and that's to put a nail shop in the considered to be the storefront unit. I have some additional plans for that. This building is pre-existing non-conforming in regards to parking, which is why a finding is required. The building does come with 4 off-street parking spaces. However, there is additional legal parking available. This property intersects with Eddy Street. Eddy Street has legal parking. I've been up and down Eddy Street. All the homes there, as far as I can see, all have driveways, so we shouldn't be impeding any homeowners. There's also signage 12-hour parking on 80th Street, which would seem to indicate that the intent is that members of the public will be parking on the street. In addition, across the street from this building is Montilio's parking lot. Obviously, we shouldn't be using Montilio's parking lot, but there's legal spots in front of the parking lot on Adams Street. In addition, on the same side of the street, at 657, we have the dairy freeze. Immediately before dairy freeze, there is additional legal parking on the street. So there is parking available. You might have to walk a little bit, you might have to drive a little bit, but the parking is there. I'm very familiar with this building. I live on Puritan Drive, which is down the street. I've passed by it for many, many years. I've also gone to the building in the past. We used to utilize the travel agency on the first floor. Personally, I haven't had any issues parking over the years when I've gone to the building. I don't believe that the change of use from office to retail is really going to be substantially more detrimental in regards to impact in regards to that area. Obviously, my client would like to utilize the building. I'm sure the city would like to see the building utilized. It's a very prominent spot on Adams Street without the finding. The building would remain vacant, which I don't think is what everybody would desire. There was a community meeting that was held at the request of Councilor Kane. There was a total of 3 people that attended it. I didn't detect any opposition. From Councilor Kane. I know there was an issue at one point. There was a proposal that there was going to be a massage therapy store as an additional tenant in the property. That lease has been terminated. That's not the case. So the only tenant so far is a nail shop. So we're asking for the board to look favorably in regards to the finding in regards to the change of use.
And he's just going to use 1 floor or the whole building?
No, the nail shop is going to use 1 of the 3 units. There's what's in the storefront unit, first floor unit, second floor unit. The nail shop's going into the storefront. The other 2 we're still looking for tenants, but the intent would be for it to be retail, not office.
All 3 floors would be retail?
All 3 units, yeah. All 3
I
units.
just don't see where people would park down the street and go there. Just, you know, I don't know. Seems like it's a tough building. Park and get out, do your business and go back in. If you're gonna have 2 more other retailers there, it just seems like it's a tough spot for that myself. But I didn't even realize there was 3 units in it. I thought it was two different units, 3.
Well, there's a small unit on the 3rd floor. It's substantially smaller than the other 2 units, but there is an additional unit. It's legally considered 3 units.
Right. I don't know, those are my questions, I guess, I just didn't know. Any questions?
No questions.
Again, I would, what type of retail would you put in the third floor then, as opposed to office? You know, I mean, an office to me would seem to fit the neighborhood and the building itself, but.
I don't necessarily
operation.
disagree with that, but I think I guess my answer is this. I mean, everybody knows what's going on in the city of Quincy in regards to redevelopment. But I mean, prior to that time, you know, as far as I'm concerned, there's been a glut of office space available in the city. There's been a lot of space that hasn't been able to be rented at least for years. It's an older building. The building was built in the 1840s, not in the best condition. There's much better space that probably can't be rented or leased out for office space. So when you keep that in mind, I think it would be tough. I mean, I've been in the building.
Wouldn't that same issue apply to a retail in that building on the
No,
third floor?
I mean, generally, I mean, I think people, usually retail, the rents, if you're a landlord, the rents for retail are higher than it is for office. And people are willing to invest more money for retail than office because they think that the rate of return is going to be better. So people are going to be more likely to sink money into something that's retail than an office. That's my experience for many years. I mean, if it had to stay as first of all, if it had to stay as an office, I don't think he's going to be able to rent it or lease it out based on my observations of the building. Second of all, you can have the same issues with parking. I also would point out to you, under zoning, if the building was conforming, it's not ours, but if it was conforming, whether it's office or retail, the number of spaces is the same. So we're not increasing the non-conformity with the request.
Thank you.
Sure.
How many employees would be working in these 2 stories, 2 floors?
Well, I only can talk about the nail shop,
One.
again, the other two,
He's using one, he has.
one.
Okay. How many employees would be working here?
Well, let's take a look at the plan. I'd say 2 to 3. Based on counting the number of stations on the plan.
And how many stations are there?
I see 4.
4 stations? Okay. So that'd be 3 employees or 4?
I'd say 2 to
employees?
3. 2 to 3.
Not 4?
For that fact that 4 there doesn't mean they're necessarily gonna hire. I'd say 2 to 3.
Well, I only asked because it's parking for what, 3 cars
4.
out back? 4 cars out back?
No, I understand that.
So if your employees show up to work, there's no place for anybody else to park
Well,
outside
assuming
of
that
the
the
street.
employees are all going to drive there, that might not necessarily be so. There's public access to that building. I mean, the 245 MBTA bus goes right by there.
Now, how many people take the bus to get their pedicures and nails done?
Well, I think we're talking about, I don't
The
mean, we're talking about the
employees.
employees now,
I'm talking
not
about
the,
the,
we're talking about
once
the
the
employees.
employees are there, how many, it's a retail operation, people are
Right.
coming and going,
Correct.
so.
I think if you get, another way to look at it, we got Eddy Street, so we got that available for parking. Probably have a quicker turnover for that than an office. I think people may be longer for if they go in there for an office use. I mean, there's different ways of looking at it. But I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Thank you.
Further question? Thank you. Does there anyone want to speak in favor? Anyone want to speak in favor? First call, second call. No one, third call, closed. A letter here from DPW, reviewing Bob Rushton's project. Comments are as follows. Specify how much impervious area will be increased through the development, providing dimension, grades, paving area, and driveway entrances. Anything further, please advise. A letter here from the council that's against. Now, later. And I think those are against them. You can have a seat, Council.
Thank you.
Is there anyone opposed or undecided? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, Robert Perkins, 24 Wright Street.
Perkins, you have the floor.
Yes, I received notice from this from Ian Kane, City Councilor. I'm opposed to the finding, I don't know what you call it, Commissioner. This building was, I guess, purchased last August. Since that time, there's been absolutely nothing done to it, except for spray painting the cracked concrete to try and show more spaces that are actually in existence there. I actually have a picture of it on Google Earth from last year, where a car was parked that way. Now they tried to put two in, which would be over in the sidewalk. One of them is actually backed up against the gas meter. That looks great. So I don't have a lot of confidence in anything that I'm seeing here. The property, as he said, is in disrepair. It's had a rental sign, but it's had a shingle hanging off. There's refuse in the yard. It's barely ever shoveled out during the storms, if it is. And in terms of the parking, the council here just offered up Eddy Street as commercial parking for a nail salon. As a resident there, I have a problem with it. We already have a tight street where there's cars already parked up on the curbs to make room, because there's not enough room for cars to pass each other or get by. So, I mean, maybe people take the bus. The 215 runs every half hour, I think. I don't see it. I think the quality of the neighborhood, you know, deserves a little better. I'm not confident there's been an adequate effort to really rent this. I also have concerns about 3 stories of retail, plus employees. I don't see it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Opposed or undecided? Second
Quickly.
call.
John Rutherford, 62 Withdrawal Road. Yeah, I'm against this project, just wanted to get it on record. They can keep it like it is and they can rent it. I actually saw this listing on the MLS. I think they were, am I correct, 1,900 you were asking for that first floor?
All right,
For the
John,
nail salon.
directed here.
But I mean, the bottom line is that it's not for retail. It's very congested there. To have people park on the street. I've been to license board meetings before, and I think honestly this is a get around to get a massage parlor in there. Because by you guys changing the use, they now go and they say it's some sort of different thing when they go back to the license board or they come back to the zoning. And by you guys changing the use, you're going to open the door to possibly maybe making it a massage parlor. So I strongly vote just to keep it like it is. They can still rent it. I really don't see why they're up here unless there's some ulterior motive. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Anyone else? Opposed or undecided? I have a couple letters here. One's from Mr. Duca. Just the same one?
Sandy,
No.
Robert Perkins.
No.
Did I just see that? That's you.
He just spoke.
Okay, so I'm not gonna read your letter,
Yeah,
just
that's
fine. But it'll be in the record.
Oh, it shouldn't be. There's another one opposed.
Dear Mr. Duca, please make this available to the Zoning Board of Appeals. I'm not in favor of the zoning change of use from office to retail at 657 Adams Street. The regions of Adams and Hilda and Adams and Eddy Streets are already very congested. I rarely exit the Adams Street end of Hilda Street, which I live on, due to the traffic there. It is not easier, but it's not great. It is easier, but not great exiting Eddy to go towards Quincy Center. My dentist, Nick's Pizza, Shore Supermarket, and my insurance agent. There is very little area for parking at the location of 657 Adams, and a very narrow drive from Adams Street that goes behind the building. How would vehicles enter and, capital letters, exit at this tiny drive? I hope they would not flow onto any street from this region behind the proposed retail store. That would really be an impediment to folks who live in the neighborhood of Eddy, Dockery, and Hilda. We have to go into Eddy or Hilda to get home. Any further implement to our travel is surely not desirable. Please just wait and try to occupy the building with a low traffic intensive business as before. Respectfully submitted, Alan Ackerson, 32 Hilda Street.
This is the council is opposed.
Dear Norman, I am writing opposition to the application for a finding of 657 Adams Street to change the property zoning from office to retail. I've had a chance to speak with the applicant and the applicant's lawyer, who has informed me that a lease has already been signed for a nail salon to occupy the first floor of this property. Historically, this property has been used for no more than office space, including a travel agency and an insurance business, which required limited parking. The property has room for 4 parking spaces at most. The intent of the applicant is to use on-street parking at area locales, including Eddy Street, Adams Street, Montilio's, and Tedeschi's, and in front of the homes in between Teresa Road and Dairy Creek, which are already heavily burdened during this business month of operation. I've had the opportunity to hold a public meeting with the applicant and the applicant's attorney. I've also heard from many of the local area residents on Eddy Street, Greenville Street, Hilda Street, and Teresa and Myoba Roads. Not one constituent has voiced support for this proposal, as it is universally believed this change of zoning is inappropriate for this particular property. I kindly ask that you do not approve this finding. Thank you. In regards, Ian Kane, City Councilor, Ward 3.
City Council does not want it, and call that part of hearing closed. I'll be voting against the council. That's his area. He knows what's going on. I didn't like the parking up there in retail. It's going to be moved. I'll be voting no.
I find the idea of retail, Mr. Chairman, just being too open to, I don't know what it is, so I too will be voting no.
Likewise.
No.
Can I have a motion, please? Go ahead, Councilor.
Well, I just want to say a couple of things. Number one, I'm certainly not going to question the credibility of Councilor Kane. I did hear a letter that was just read into the record where he indicates that everybody he's spoken from that area is against it. As he pointed out, as I pointed out to a community meeting, there was 3 people that were here. And the 3 people...
Also, we had to read it. It's what
No, I understand that. I understand that. But
right.
I guess what I'm trying to say is what was read and what I saw with my own eyes when I was here, and that's why we do these things, was quite different. The other thing that I would point out, yes, historically, it was an office, maybe it was even a house once upon a time, I don't know, it looks to me like it may have been a house. But, you know, there's retail there in that area, notwithstanding the fact of what's going on with that building, on both sides of the street. You know, from the Adams Mansion to Furnaceburg Parkway, that's primarily residential, it's residential A. And from the Parkway up to the 7-Eleven and Burger King, it's mixed use. And there are residential buildings in that area. So I would suggest that what my client is proposing really isn't out of character with the other properties that are there. The other thing you got to keep in mind is that the issue is, as we all know, whether or not it's subject detrimental to the neighborhood if there's a change of use. From what I'm hearing, people are complaining and they're saying, well, there's a problem with the parking, there's a problem with the parking.
Councilor?
Yeah.
Come on. We got a line.
I understand that.
I gave you the floor for a second. Let's move it along.
I'm going to ask that it be withdrawn without prejudice.
Okay. Do I have a motion to withdraw without prejudice?
Mr. Chairman, in matter Z17-17, LENNY CHEN for a fine to change the use of office to retail that the increase in re-existing non-conforming parking will not be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood on premise number 657 Adams Street. Please make a motion to withdraw the matter without prejudice.
Second.
Motion made second, and on the motion, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor.